Hello, how are you on this windy Edinburgh day? Today I'm going to tell you 5 random facts about Princes Street. How are you? Hope you're happy and healthy and well out there. Forgive me, it's a bit windy here today. I'm trying to shelter the microphone as much as I possibly can, but hopefully it's not going to cause too much of an issue. Today just a fact history video. I feel like I haven't done one of these for a little while. About 5 things that you might not know about Princes Street. You know, things you can impress your friends with, because I know you enjoy that sort of thing. So here we are, almost in the centre of Princes Street. That's looking towards Calton Hill right there, and if I turn round, there we go, looking towards the West End right there. But did you know, fact number 1, that it wasn't originally going to be called Princes Street. It was originally going to be called St Giles Street. It's going to be called St Giles Street because St Giles is the patron saint of Edinburgh. However, the king at the time, King George IV? I'm going to go with 4th, I'm not 100% sure. I'm jumping into myself here. King George III, not King George IV. But King George definitely didn't like that idea because he is also the patron saint of lepers. So he didn't want the main thoroughfare street, although this was all residences at the time, not shops, giving away another fact, was going to be named after a saint who is the patron saint of lepers, even though he is the patron saint of Edinburgh as well. So he asked that it be named in honour of his 2 sons, the Princes Street. So it's Princey, and then that, so many people, and even me myself when I was younger, used to think it was Princess Street, and it's not. It's Princes Street, named after the 2 sons of the king at the time, because he didn't want it named St Giles Street, even though it was the patron saint of Edinburgh. So you can see as well that all of the buildings here are retail spaces, all bar one. Because all of these were originally residences, and you can see the style of residences almost immediately when you go further back from Princes Street. You can see them, but originally there were steps going up to the first floor and steps going down to the basement level, and there's only one building still in Princes Street that is original in that way. And here it is, the only kind of original looking building still on Princes Street. You can see with the steps going up to the first floor and steps going down to the basement level. Originally all the buildings on here, or the majority of them, were like this for residential. However, now they all have new facades and new fronts, or in a lot of cases a completely new building. But at one point they were all very, very similar to that, but probably not a coffee shop. Now, you'll notice that there are only buildings and shops on the north side of Princes Street, and that's deliberate. Actually, it's by law. By law, there is no buildings allowed to be built on the south side of Princes Street to preserve this, the view of Edinburgh Castle, which ironically has just been blocked by a bus. Yep. By an order of Parliament, there is no more buildings allowed to be built here on the south side of Princes Street to preserve that view. However, buses have their own law. With that, Princes Street almost looked very, very different. After World War II, there were plans to build a second level of shops to make up for the fact there was no second level of shops on this side of Princes Street. So the idea was to build a walkway 1 level up all the way along Princes Street, and I'm assuming that means crossing the road there would have been walkways as well, which would make things like that impossible. But all the way along Princes Street there would have been a second walkway for a second level of shops. Now apparently there are some buildings that still hold true to this because the work was actually started. I thought it was this building right here. You can see how this building here kind of looks like a walkway there that goes over all the buildings right there, all the way along. I mean, it's ugly, it's not nice, but you can kind of see entrances into some of these areas there. Can you imagine? It's apparently not that. I'll show you one of the buildings that was, the research I can see was supposed to be the start of it. That kind of looks like it though. Can you imagine something like that all the way along here? I mean, it would have been ugly, it wouldn't have been nice, and it would have caused a lot of problems with buses and larger vehicles coming down the side streets. I'm going to show again another reason why I think that was the start of it, even though the research I'm seeing says that isn't it. But you can see that there's two entrances here, and that up there is a stairwell from there that kind of walks on to that platform, which feels to me like that would have been points where you went up the stairs and walked onto the second level, and I'm assuming things like that would have been all the way along. But can you imagine something like that? It's not pretty at all. Going by my research, this right here, the old British Home Stores building, is the start of what had been the walkway here. I don't see it as much there as I do on the building that I pointed out to you right there, just because that seems more recessed and there's doors onto it and things, and then that bit that looked like the way up, so that going all the way along here and hitting that. Anyway, either way, I'm very glad that the plans didn't happen, because I don't think it would have been pretty at all. And last but by no means least, there is another rule or law that no buildings are allowed to be built above street level after the Balmoral Hotel, right here. Now this probably explains why Waverley Mall, or Waverley Market as I know it as, I think it's back to Waverley Market now, and there's loads of buses here, they're not helping me today, is underground. And it leads back to the 18th century, this one. Now this goes back to Princess Street when it was more residential than retail. But there was a proposal to put houses and factories at the east end of Princess Street here. There was a bit of an uproar about it that I think ended up going to the House of Lords, and they made the rule that no buildings were allowed to be above street level after where the Balmoral now stands. Although I don't think the Balmoral was there at the time, I think that was just another building, houses at the time. But that is now why Waverley is underground, Waverley Market is underground. And then after that, the rule that I already said, the law said that nothing is allowed to be built on that side anyway, probably after Waverley Market. And there you have it. 5 random facts about Princess Street you might not have known, or you might have known them. If you didn't, it's random facts you can impress your friends with. Hope you enjoyed that. If you did, as always, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe if you haven't already. It would mean the world if you could subscribe. Genuinely, you've no idea how much it helps out. If you want, you can always support by becoming a patron, or look at the merch. How good is that? How good is this beanie hat? It's not cold enough for me to wear it today, but look at that. Look at some merch. Clan Broonford merch. Look at that. Till next time. Bye, humans.